Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lori and today I wanted to do a video on a message I received during a session with a client today. And it was a message from the Lemurians and also the star beings that were around her and working on her as well. And it's an interesting message that came through about our past. And so I'm going to share it with you. And again, like all my videos, take what resonates, throw away the rest. And again, these are kind of new ways of stepping into the new realities and new paradigms that we're shifting into. So this is another way to look at our past. This is another way to look at how we think, how we believe, how we act, the programming that we are indoctrinated in, so to speak. So let's look at this in a different perspective, the way the Lemurians and star beings want us to look at the past. So first of all, the past can be anything from 20,000 years ago and all the lifetimes up until now, 5,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 100 years ago, just this lifetime alone. So when you were 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, it could be a month ago, a couple years ago, it could be tomorrow, yesterday. Okay? But when they talk about the past, they're literally talking about anything other than what's current, what is present. And as we all know, and I think I've spoken about this before in my videos, we are being asked to live in the present moment more and more, and that literally is our only reality, is the present. And so what does that mean, right? And as we begin to shift and as we begin to ascend, we start to understand that this is much bigger than just being present moment, just sitting here and being like, okay, I'm just going to be present and I'm just going to focus on my present moment thing. It's actually much bigger than that. So when we come into a body, we take on all of the rules, all of the ways that Earth works, all of the programming that the human is handed down from generation to generation to generation. One of the programs that we have deeply believed in is that we are groomed from our past. So we are who we are because of our past, and that our past will predict our future. It's a big one, that our past will predict our future. So what's happened to me in the past, where I can assume will happen to me in the future. Okay? And what we are being asked to step out of, and what they were showing this client, is that is absolutely, unequivocally no longer true. That just because your life has been stressful for many, many years, just because you kind of fall into that category of I'm clumsy, or these things always happen to me, or I'm always getting my heart broken, or I can never find the right job, I always lose my job, or I never find the right boyfriend, I never find the right partner, I always find somebody that breaks my heart. Or deeper, right? There's lots of pain and trauma that I need to heal. There's trauma from my past that I need to heal. There's trauma from past lives that I need to heal, right? One of the things that a lot of people still believe in is that your past lives are still connected to your current life. That is a reality. And that has been a reality for us for a very long time, but that is absolutely not a reality if you choose it not to be. So there's a big difference in these realities and paradigms that are opening for all of us. It is a choice. It's that simple. So you can believe in the belief systems, the programming, the old paradigms that say that your behavior is based on all these things that have happened in your past, whatever past you want to go back to, and the only way to move forward is to go back and look, go back and heal, work through all the trauma, work through all this stuff, and then you can move on. Okay? And that is a beautiful process. And I honor everybody that goes through that process. I've gone through that process many times. Okay? And for those of us that still need to go through that process, great. But what these beautiful beings were trying to get across to this woman, to me, and to share with you is that that doesn't need to be the reality anymore. Simply choose to understand that you don't have to hold that reality anymore. So what does that mean? You have to understand there is a collective paradigm, there's a collective programming, there's a collective energetic consensus, this breathing sort of mechanism that just moves and breathes, right? That has been given to us that says on a very big collective level that your past is who you are, and you have to go back and look at it, and you have to heal it, and you have to do all this work. Work is great nowadays. You don't have to work for anything in terms of healing, but that's a whole other video. The collective is saying you need to go back and heal your past lives, at least honor them, look at them, understand them. And what these beings are saying is, no, you don't. No, you don't. Absolutely, unequivocally, you do not. You actually just need to make the conscious decision to say, I'm actually going to choose a different reality. What does this different reality look like? What it looks like is that whatever has happened in my past has happened. I honor it. I acknowledge it. I see it. And this means from yesterday, this means from a week ago, right? All the things that have happened in your past energetically are in the past. So what that means is, unless you agree to energetically take that past with you into the present moment, it naturally doesn't need to come with you. So you can make the conscious decision that says, listen, these things have happened to me in the past. And these things have created aspects of me and personality parts of me and emotional parts of me and trauma within me and all these things. I see it and I understand it, but I'm not going to take it with me anymore. So you have to imagine that the past, however long you want to go back, that the past is an energetic sort of flow. Okay? So there's an energy that moves from the past into your present moment. There's an energy that moves there. Because we have been programmed to believe that the past is going to push us into the future, that the past is going to show us what the future is going to be like. So we're constantly thinking about the past and how it was before and what's happened in the past to make us believe what's going to happen in the future. And that's just a belief. All that is a belief system, you guys. It's not. It's real only because we have believed it. We have known it to be true through our thoughts. We have been programmed to live this way for many years, and so that's how we live. When you move into higher frequencies and higher dimensional spaces, okay, and everybody talking about this new earth that we're all moving into, okay, and the fifth dimension, there's no such thing as living in your past, okay? Your past doesn't come with you. You're in this moment, and then you move to the next moment, and then you move to the next moment. And whatever happened in those past moments are gone. They don't dictate who you are, where you're going, or what's happening in the current moment. That's what present moment is. Present moment is allowing the energy of the past to be where it belongs, which is the past. And so you have to this takes a lot of practice, and it takes a willingness to want this new reality and to start to step into this belief, right? All these things that I share are very new ways of sort of stepping into things. Some of these are going to be easier than others. This can be a challenging one because many of us have had trauma in our childhood. Many of us have had pain. Many of us have been hurt on many different levels. And so there's a question of, well, Lori, that's all grand and fabulous, but how do I release that trauma? How do I let go of that pain that is holding on to me and making me afraid of certain situations? What you do is you imagine it as energy. This is what the Lemurians were showing this woman. Imagine it as energy, okay? Imagine yourself laying there or just sitting, and there's all this energy that's connected to you. And it's energy from all these past experiences that have happened, okay? What you need to, it's literally this simple. What you need to begin to visualize and consciously start to grasp is that those things happened. The trauma is inside of you. Like I've said on other videos, as you shift and ascend, believe it or not, the trauma will heal on its own. The addictions will heal on its own. The disease will heal on its own. This is extremely challenging for people to understand as well. Ascension takes care of these things that we're trying to control. We're trying so badly to force things, push things, control things, including trauma and pain. When people talk about shadow work, all that means is when something comes up that's uncomfortable, through this process of waking up and shifting, you feel it and it moves through you. That's the same thing with trauma. So if you're in the present moment and trauma comes up, from an experience that happened in your past, right? You're not focused on the past event. And this happened to me, and this is how I feel about it, and I can't trust people. You're not focused on that. You're focused on the present moment, which is trauma's coming up from a past event. I'm not focused on the past, I'm focused on the present. And the present is showing me some trauma coming up. Wow, okay, I'm going to feel this. I'm going to feel this self-hatred or whatever this is that's coming up. I'm going to stay focused and present only on the emotion that's coming up, not the energetic connection to the past. So you're staying very laser beam focused on the present moment. So trauma's going to come up. Pain's going to come up. A fear of speaking is going to come up. And all of these things may have an association to something that has happened to you in the past. So you're not ignoring the past. But what you are doing is you're not allowing the past to control your future. You're not allowing the past to tell you how things are going to be. So you stay present. Oh my God, look at what's popping up. This fear of speaking. Okay, maybe it's from a past life. Maybe it's from something somebody said. That honestly doesn't matter. It doesn't matter so much as to where it came from, as opposed to you just sitting in it and feeling it. Feeling it. Oh, okay, look at what I'm feeling. You know, I have a deep fear of being loved again and getting hurt. Okay, well, you can probably tap back into all the other relationships that you've had in your life that have sucked or that you've gotten hurt with, right? But you don't need to do that anymore, because all you're doing is perpetuating the past to show you what the future is going to look like. It takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of strength, and it takes a lot of faith and knowingness that you can literally move out of the space you're in, the old paradigm, the old belief systems, the old ways of doing it that are still very current and everyone is still believing in, that everyone is still buying into, which again is totally okay. It's totally okay. Because it works for people, but it doesn't need to. It's challenging to stay intact with your past. Look back at the past. Talk about the past. You know, it's pointless energetically because it has nothing to do with your future. If you want a different future, if you want something that's not going to be this perpetuate the past, okay? So, and this is including things from yesterday or the day before or the day before that. Right? It's like we're so attached to our past and what happened and thinking that that's going to continue, that we're always going to have that. It's an energy. Everything is energy. It's like this is all just an energetic playground. And so if you imagine yourself as an energetic being and you imagine all the things that have happened in the past. I'm talking about an hour ago, a second ago, the past, all the way down to 50,000 years ago, whenever you incarnated on the planet, okay? All of those things are an energetic experience that you can allow to stay attached to you so that when you continue moving forward, you are energetically holding and pulling your past with you. And so you're always looking back at the past saying, oh, well, what happened the last time this happened? Hold on, let me look back at my past. Wait a second, I'm about to get into a relationship. What happened last time I did? Let me look back at my past, right? Wait a second. I just received a huge chunk of money. Last time I received a huge chunk of money, what happened? Let me look back at the past, right? You're always doing that because you're energetically pulling the past along with you. As opposed to saying, this energy is great. This energy was my experience. This energy was my life. This past was everything that brought me to where I am now. And now I'm just going to move forward and not energetically pull my past. So when I step into a new situation, I'm going to pretend like it's a new situation. And I'm going to know and believe that it can be a new situation, that I don't have to feel or experience or have it be like any other situation that I've ever had before. It doesn't have to be like anything in the past. So this is what it means to be present moment. This is exactly what present moment is. Present moment is letting go of your past and understanding that you don't need to heal anything. That humans make healing a lot of work. We heal naturally, just like if you were to, cut open your arm somewhere out in the wilderness or I don't know where, or whatever, right? Your body will naturally heal itself. We're a naturally healing body, whatever the word I'm trying to use. It's the same thing with our emotional body. It heals on its own, believe it or not. It does. It absolutely will. It absolutely does. That's what the ascension process is doing for all of us. God bless all of us, including myself, that have done a lot of work, hard work, to heal ourselves. But that is an old paradigm. I find myself in that paradigm sometimes, but I'm slowly stepping out of it. And so what does that look like? Well, I look at the past and see how I've tried to do all this work to heal myself, knowing that that doesn't do anything because I'm still sitting here in the pain, right? It's like, oh, here comes the pain again. That was weird. I thought I did all this work, right? Well, in the past, that's true. I did all this work. Now I'm going to do something different. The different thing that I'm going to do is I'm not going to do anything that I've done in the past, and I'm going to let the past completely and utterly disappear. So when I live my life right now, what I've been doing and practicing is literally letting the past dissolve. So when I step forward into my next moment, whether it's the hour or the day or the week, I let the past dissolve. So I don't look back at my past and try to figure out how things are going to work. So when I feel something deeply, I just feel it, and I know that in an hour I won't, or in 6 hours I won't, or in 2 days I won't. Something else will pop up. And then I'll experience that, and I'll keep going. I stay present in whatever I'm feeling, and I try not to label it. And I don't worry about where it came from. I don't worry about the why. I don't look back at all my past lives, even though I haven't had any past lives, but I don't look back at any past lives and say to myself, oh, well, this happened because I was persecuted, or this happened because I was hung. You don't have to do that anymore. You can literally just say, I'm going to be present. My past was beautiful. Everything happened the way it was meant to happen and designed because I designed it. And it's dissolving. What if you let your past dissolve? What if the Lemurians or the star beings or your guides or yourself, your higher self, stood right in front of you today and said, your past is dissolved. You don't have a past. So you're starting from scratch right now. What do you want? How do you want to paint your today? How do you want to paint your today? Not based on what's happened in the past, not based on the trauma and pain you feel, because there's still trauma and pain in us, okay? There's still heartache. There's still all of the really human, beautiful emotions in us. This has nothing to do with not feeling. This has everything to do with letting the past not control you and not control your future. The past literally is done. And we have this programming and this belief. The pain of what happened isn't gone. The pain's in here. It's all in here. Okay? But there's a difference between holding on to the past, looking back at the past, living in the past, seeing the past, allowing the past to dictate you. When you feel an emotion, trying to go back into the past, dissolving the, dismantling the experience and the person and all of that. There's a difference between doing that and putting all the energy back there and just staying present with whatever's coming up. Oh, look, an experience, a pain, a trauma, a fear. Here it comes. I'm going to let it out. I'm going to move forward. What's next? Okay, great. I'm having a beautiful day. Fabulous. I love it, right? So it's about stepping into a new reality. Do you want to? You don't have to. Eventually you will, by the way. Eventually all of us will. Eventually all of us will be living this way. Years from now, maybe. I don't know how long it's going to take us. But we'll remember this video, 3 years ago, speaking of past. And, oh, I remember Lori was talking about that. And you're going to start to live this way. We all are. We're never going to be living in past anymore. When people say, oh, do you want to go back and experience your past lives? You're going to look at them like they've lost their mind. What do you mean, look at my past lives? Why would I want to go back and look at my past lives? That's very weird. I think I want to just be here, right? So these are the things, this is how humanity is shifting. This is what we're shifting into. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with continuing to stay in the past or dealing with past issues, going into past lives to clear things. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not going to help you right now. I mean, you can do it, but I guarantee you whatever you're trying to clear or heal or look at is going to still pop up, right? So the best thing you can do is stop worrying about how to heal yourself or how to process things or how to do anything, and begin to start to think about the experience of the past. Start to think about the energy of our past. Think about how much energy we spend in our past. Just think about it. We don't even recognize it because we're doing it so often. Think about when a new experience happens, right? Think about how you will kind of automatically think about how this happened to you in the past and what happened, right? So you can prepare yourself. We're constantly thinking about the past, constantly being able to gauge the future. And if we just stay present, everything will just flow. We don't have to worry about the past anymore. So it's a choice. It's an energetic choice of saying, okay, I'm going to practice this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to think about this for a second. I'm going to think about how often I think of the past. I'm going to think about my past as an energetic sort of bond that I have with it. I'm going to think about it. How often am I thinking about it? And then I'm going to try to think about, do I want to make the decision? Do I want to step into a belief system that literally says none of that matters anymore? I don't need to hold on to the past. That if I'm a clumsy person, I don't have to have a clumsy experience going forward if I don't want to. If you're somebody that always has struggle, there's always something that goes wrong. There's always something that goes wrong with me, right? There's always like a black cloud that follows me around, right? I have bad luck, right? Though when you say things like that out loud, that's living in the past. You can absolutely own that and continue with that. This is how powerful our thoughts are. You can absolutely own that and keep going with those thoughts and beliefs, or you can shift it and say, I'm not this person anymore. I'm not believing in that. The energy is so potent and so strong right now that we have the ability, like a drop of a dime, to jump into a different way of thinking, to jump into a new paradigm, to jump into a new consciousness. When people talk about new timelines, timelines and paradigms and shifting into different states of consciousness and things like that, it happens like this because the energy is so intense right now. And all that you have to think about is it's thoughts. It's your thoughts. It's thoughts. Thoughts create our reality. Very simple. If you think that you're going to move forward without your past, if you believe that, if you know that to be your reality, you're going to step into the next day and you're not going to be clumsy and you're not going to have struggle and you're not going to have bad luck going forward. Boom. Guess what? Guarantee it. If you believe it, it won't happen. It's a matter of belief, a knowingness. It's a knowingness. It's an energetic, it's allowing the energy of these new ways to move through, to hold it, to deeply, deeply believe it to be your truth, and then walk it. That's all it is. So if you don't believe it, that's okay. You eventually will believe it. You eventually will get to that place where you believe it. And it's okay until you're there. If you're, it's okay, the process, until you get there. But this is the world we're walking into. The other thing the Lemurians were saying to this client is that we are in the age of miracles. We are walking into a reality that basically will give us anything we want if we believe it. The thought that we hold, the energetic movement that happens up here, is so powerful and so intense, but can shift so quickly and create miracles for us. Literally miracles. Anything we want, we already know this, it's just extremely challenging to believe it. It's extremely challenging to know in the core of our core that anything we want, we can have. And this is one of those kind of things that everybody talks about. It's like, oh, manifestation, here's how you manifest, and here's how you do this, and here's how you do that. It's just energy. It's an energetic knowingness. It's an energy that you hold within you, that you feel, that you tap into. You can't waver. It's just this deep energetic knowingness. And the thoughts that come from that energetic knowingness support the energetic knowingness. So there's not this cognitive dissonance thing going on, right? Where you're feeling one thing and thinking something else and they're just not matching. Or you're doing one thing and thinking something else. It's like they're just not connecting. When you're in resonance with the frequency of these higher states of consciousness, with these new paradigms that are being presented to us, with these new timelines that are being presented to us, when you are in resonance with it, meaning that you are energetically in the same frequency as that belief system, as that reality, as that paradigm, as that timeline, if you're in that same frequency, you'll slip right into it and you'll start moving down that path, living out these new paradigms. That's what I mean when I say all of us are eventually going to be doing it, because all of us are shifting our energies and our frequencies. And eventually we will, it's almost like puzzle pieces. It's like you'll eventually find, you will use, is it puzzle pieces? Not really a good analogy. It's kind of like, you'll eventually fit into the lock. You'll be a key and you'll eventually fit into that lock. And there's all these locks along your path, right? And you'll eventually fit into each lock and lock in and lock in and lock in, right? And you lock in by having your frequency resonate with the frequency of this other paradigm. So the old paradigm of being in the past, living in the past, right? Your frequency vibrates with it. You're vibrating at that frequency, at that paradigm, at that consciousness, at that level. And so that key that's in the lock is at that same frequency as the belief systems of the old living in your past. And one of the things that we have the ability to shift into is another reality, another doorknob where there's a lock, right? Raising your frequency, raising your vibration, raising your consciousness, starting to understand, oh my goodness, there's something new. There's a new way to be. There's a new way to live. And if I can take my key and put it in the hole and turn it, click, I'm in. Once you're in, once you're connected to that resonance, once you're connected to that frequency and vibration of that paradigm, of that consciousness, of that timeline, there's no going back. You'll never go back. I mean, if you think about your own evolution and your own transformation, the things you used to do, the things you used to think, the things that used to be in your reality, that are no longer in your reality, you could never imagine going back to, because you don't resonate at that level anymore. And so going back to that same level would be horrendous. You'd be like, sorry, that is not happening, right? You leave those locked doors alone. And living in the past is one of those locked doors. It's a key you fit in. It's a key you fit in the lock, and it's served humanity for a very long time. And now we're being presented with another one at a little bit different vibration, new paradigm, new consciousness, new way of being. And you're being asked to kind of start to look around and see how the key will fit in, and does it look good, and can you do it? Do you have the belief in it? Blah, blah, blah. And eventually, as you shift, as the earth brings in, as the frequencies and energies are coming in, and we're shifting into higher states of consciousness, slowly but surely, you'll click. Boop. You'll no longer be living in the past. You'll no longer be connected to the past. You'll be in the very present moment. So, that's my spiel on that. Hopefully it made sense. I feel like I was all over the place. But it's just another paradigm we're stepping out of. And a really amazing one. And one that's available to us. We're stepping into a new reality, a new paradigm that's available to us. So all these new paradigms are opening for us. You have to understand that the earth and her energy is shifting and raising. And so the frequencies and vibrations are opening. It's like everything's kind of opening up, opening up, opening up. We are expanding, we're opening, we're shifting. And there's new ways for us as humans to live. We have to. We can't continue living the way we lived in the past. Obviously, because we don't connect to the past, right? So you're constantly shifting. You've got to move with the energy. You're not going to live the same way you lived 2 years ago, which is, again, another example of how you don't stay connected to the past. You're shifting. And this is one of those really unique, powerful shifts that some people are going to be okay with right away, some people aren't, but eventually we all will be living this way. None of us will be ever living in the past. Well, I shouldn't say that. I have no idea. I mean, there could be millions of people that stay in the past for a very long time. Hopefully not. But anyways, you get the point. The point is that if you're on this ascension path, actively on it, it won't take you very long. So my suggestion is start to become aware of how often you're living in the past, how often you're thinking about the past. How if some sort of experience pops up, do you say, oh, this always happens to me, or oh, this is predictable, or whatever. If an experience pops up that you're about to walk into, do you think about the past and how you've done it in the past? You know, how often are you thinking about the past? And then ask yourself, do you want something different? Do you want to actually release yourself from the past and just be in the present? And just trust and know that the past doesn't have to predict who you are now or where you're going. Not at all. And that this doesn't cancel out any sort of internal emotional work that's going to continue to come up. I go through it all the time. I am always moving through intense emotion. It's just a natural thing I do now. It's like, oh, who's coming in now? What's coming in now? What emotion am I feeling today? How dark and deep does it go, right? I don't sit around and say, oh my God, I need to go search these books and I need to go figure out how to get rid of it. I need to figure out how to look at my past and deal with my past. I just sit with it. I let it come and then it goes. And I move on. You know, it's that simple. It's painful. It's not fun a lot of times, but I don't dwell in it. I don't look back at my past and try to figure it out. I don't, try to work out all these equations and step-by-step processes. Totally okay for those of us that do that. Absolutely 100% okay. A lot of us need that. So be okay with that. That's great. But there's other ways to go through it. You don't need to necessarily do it the way you've done it in the past. You can actually go through trauma and pain and fear and anxiety and stress differently. And eventually we won't even be going through that. So hopefully this made sense. I feel like I was all over the place with this video, but I'm really hoping it makes sense to you guys. And just let it simmer. Nothing to do with it, right? You don't have to do anything with it. It's just another one of those things that you can just kind of think about or sit with. And just be with. But it was a beautiful, beautiful lesson for myself and for this beautiful client about the past. And really, you guys, more than anything, understanding that we are creative beings and that we absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, have the ability to create our reality. And we can step into anything we want. And being okay with the frustration of not believing that. Being okay with the frustration of not quite there yet. Being okay with that. But we absolutely absolutely are stepping into a reality where we can create anything and everything we want. If we no longer want to be in struggle and pain and fear, eventually you can choose that, and that will be the reality that you're having, right? It takes a while because there's a lot that we're still moving through in our emotional, mental, and physical bodies. But if you want it to be easy, if you want to just flow with it, you can create that reality. It's all about what you believe. It's all about belief and knowingness. Okay, I can go on and on and on forever, so I'm going to stop. I love you all so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here with me right now. And not right now on this video, but right now on this planet. Thank you. Thank you for volunteering. Thank you for coming into a physical body. Thank you for continuing to take one step in front of the other, because this is not easy. And we are being asked to do a lot as the way showers, as the people on the front lines. And even if you don't think you are a way shower or a light worker, you are. You absolutely are. And we are on the front lines. There are billions of people on the planet. And so we are just a small amount that are beginning to do what the rest of humanity is going to be doing. So we're on the front. Well, nobody's teaching us. Nobody's showing us. We're having to learn all of this on our own. So although we are caught up in a community where there's, everybody sort of understands these words and these lingo and these names and all of that, so you kind of feel like you're losing out or you're slow or you're not right where everybody else is, understand that there are like 5 billion people on the planet, okay? And this community of millions of people that are shifting and ascending and that understand it and are moving through it are small compared to the ginormous amount of people that are actually going to be going through it and living on the planet. And yes, we're all going to be going through it. So give yourself credit, relax, you're going to do it, you're already doing it, you have no choice. And thank you. Thank you for listening, thank you for liking this video if you like it. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I appreciate that more than anything. If you feel like this video would resonate with somebody else, pass it along. I receive these messages and I get them out because as many people as possible that can get the energetic experience from it, the better. And again, if nothing resonates with you, toss it. Come back for a different one. Maybe another one will resonate with you. Anyways, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you on the next video. Lots of love.